Alright. Yeah, I haven't shot a video in a long time. Sorry. Just been busy with other stuff and I was not feeling like making more videos with shitty sound quality, but I bought a mic and everything and that just like it doesn't work with phones apparently. So I'm just gonna do this little video about Risograph comics. And this is just regular newsprint, but I've seen a lot of people talk about Risograph. I guess that's how it's pronounced, comics, and I guess a lot of people don't cover certain aspects of it that I've recently found out about that are kind of, I just wanted to kind of get a little bit more in depth and show some of the stuff that I have. So this is just to illustrate. Basically, there's an interesting article from the Comics Journal about like when Risograph made it into the comics world and when it became popular, and it's purported, or it's said that Mickey Z, or his Zichelli, I'm not sure. I guess that's why he calls himself Mickey Z. He was one of the first people to have one of the machines, and so I don't have any of his other work to show, but I figured I might as well show you this. I'm gonna do a whole episode on Mother's News, so like I don't feel like explaining all about this right now, but it's really cool. It ran basically next to Paper Rodeo in Providence, and CF had a running strip in here, a serialized comic that he never missed. So there's like 40 of these, and none of his stuff's collected. So also Michael DeForge had a strip called Military Prison, which is great. Brian Chippendale, great stuff. And so this is Mickey Z's work. So he was supposed to be one of the first people that started doing comics with Risograph. And so Risograph is, if you don't know, it's like it looks like a Xerox machine, and it works the same way, kind of similar to just a copier, but also a little bit more like a mimeograph. It uses like a screen, like screen printing, but you can do in color, basically. And it used to be at least really cheap to get these machines and get the ink for them. And let's just illustrate some aspect of what it looks like. These are some of the textures you can get. So when you use a Risograph machine, you have to run it through, so it only prints one color at a time. So each one of these colors is a different layer. They have to be separated, obviously, and you can just directly scan your art in, or you can use Photoshop. A lot of people use Photoshop with it to like really, make things interesting. So you can get these crazy. So the machine itself. Okay, my cat wants to get out. Sorry. Yes, George, I hear you. Alright, so the reason, or the way that Risograph works is you have these, it looks like it's like a drum head of ink, a cylinder, and there's, I guess, a screen. It's digital, it's all digital somehow, but a screen that lays over it physically, and the ink shoots, like sprays through it, so you can create these gradient effects that are really interesting when used, and also the colors are just like amazing. So this is John Pham. I did a whole episode on his work, so I'm just kind of showing it for because he's kind of one of the masters of it, I think. So it's kind of a pain. I mean, a lot of these pages had to probably just be completely different print setups and everything. So this shit takes a lot of work. At the same time, it is cheap, and a lot of people really it's interesting because Mickey Z talks a lot about this in that Comics Journal piece about Risograph, and that was around 2009 when he started doing it, and when it started gaining traction. But it was created in the 80s as just a alternative to Xerox, basically, to have color, and it was created in Japan and used, for just cheap flyers. The Boy Scouts used it, stuff like that, and it was never really discovered until around 2009, and it just became an explosion of I don't have that much early stuff, this stuff is usually very limited print, and I kind of got distracted from my earlier point about it's a cheap thing to produce, and so that's why it's good for a cartoonist. Although they're like giant machines, it looks like a Xerox machine. It's a lot of people just own them themselves, and that way they can just self-publish and really go wild. But there's a debate about charging a lot. A lot of people act like it's like a boutique, expensive thing to make. And I get that about the labor process being, it's worth, you have to value your work, of course, but it does get a little ridiculous. People charge like $60, for a, I get it, like these are small publishing companies, very small, like micro publishers that they want to be able to pay their artists, and at least that's my interpretation. I'm sure there's some mismatch. So anyway, what I'm flipping through here, this was done by Breakdown Press, which is out of England, and Fantagraphics distributes some of their stuff now. They were originally doing a lot of Risograph releases, anthologies and stuff, and it is really cool. I can't find a lot of their early work because they're based out of England. I think mostly it's expensive for them to ship first, so I think that's why Fantagraphics is finally picking up some of their releases. They're doing a lot of offset books, like collections of the artists that they've worked with in the past. So I believe the publisher is run by Joe Kessler, who does Window Pane, and that's a really cool series. I'll do a dive on that someday. But there's a collected edition, but for some reason it only collects 3 and 4. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. This is Connor Willumsen, and if you're aware of his work, he did some stuff with Marvel actually, and had a big controversy with them, big falling out, and wanted his name removed from some stuff. This is probably the next person I cover a whole video about, because he's one of my favorite modern, contemporary cartoonists, and fortunately his work's, it's probably all going to be out of print within a few years, and some of his best work is impossible to find, or it's like in small anthologies that you cannot get, or this is his first major work, Treasure Island, which can be kind of hard to see. So this is obviously just a one-color Risograph, but okay, so this came out in I think like 2014, and you really see his style is like scratchy. I'm not sure, this was probably before the Marvel stuff, but you can see like he has a scratchy style it starts to coalesce, and you see like, if you've read his later work like Antigone, which is a great book, must read if you can find it. This is like what he's kind of known for, and his work in Kramer's Ergot, which is insane. So we'll flip through all these. It's hard to explain what this one's really about, so you can see his style like completely shift here. Although I think this is actually the third one, so that's why. The second, it's coming there, it's getting there, like the panel's already gone, but it's still got that scratchy thing. This is like a perfect example of him coming into his style. If I can find it, just past it. This little car, it's like this wonky. He really plays with perspective, like with the Eastern eye. Like Western art is very firm in its perspectives, and in manga there's a lot of variation from that. Each book has this section at the end that's like feels totally unrelated with this bad boy duck, and I have to reread this whole thing. I mean, I got really lucky and found these all together, $10 each, recently. The place I got it was called Bud's Art, or Bud's Art Zines, or fuck, I can't remember now. Bud's Zine Shop. Just found it like after just searching for so long. I know he doesn't have more, but I'm not gonna tease you. Maybe you can find it if you like really dig. Anyway, that one is not, you know, doesn't really show too much of what Rizo can do. This is more of just the easy print in one color. Like this, although this one has a little bit more. I haven't actually read this yet. Someone gave me this in a trade as just a bonus thing, and I've heard really cool stuff about this guy, but it's new to me. I haven't read it yet. Beautiful though, very manga inspired as well. But yeah, I'm showing the stuff I'm showing to begin with is I'm not gonna get focused too much on certain stuff because I've covered a few of these things already in other videos. But this is Olivier Schrauwen's new series, Sunday. It's by Colorama, and this is the second printing of this. I think it's already sold out, but they claim they were doing. There's already a second volume, and then the third one is supposed to come out this winter that passed, but no, they didn't say anything. Sorry, my cat wants back in now. Yeah. I know, George, I know. But Colorama is really cool publisher. I think they've done a couple things with him already, but so he's a Belgian artist, but he lives in Germany, which is also where Colorama is based. And I'm not 100% on this, but I think Colorama is run by Aisha Franz, who's another one of like the great modern cartoonists. Like, if you haven't read Earthling or Shit Is Real, I cannot recommend those books enough. And so yeah, this is some other stuff from Colorama. They do this project called Clubhouse, which is it's an anthology where they have a residency and they invite all these different artists to come to Germany and do a workshop together and basically make this within a week, I believe, or something like that. And so the concept is one artist is commissioned to do a poster, and then another artist is assigned to make a story based, or a comic based on that poster. So it's like a call and response thing, like a game of telephone. And this is Rizo printed by Colorama as well. Not really familiar with a lot of these artists, but you have Aisha Franz, who, like I said, I love her work. Her style has like changed a lot recently, for sure. But like the poster stuff doesn't really reflect what her comics look like, which are kind of in the vein of CF's early work. That's how I see it. In fact, when I saw her piece in Kramer's 10, I thought it was CF at first, and even though he already had a comic in there, I was just assumed it was him because of how much of a similar vibe. I think you can still find this one. This is number, I don't know, 10, I think. Oh yeah, this one was put out by Textbooks as a collaboration with Textbooks, which is based out of Brooklyn. So maybe this was printed in the US because I've seen copies in it several places. Edition of 500, so it is small. If you want it, seek it out. That one's easy to find. This one just came out recently, but it's a really expensive book. It kind of, yeah, I love this book, but I don't know if it was worth spending that much on for me personally. I don't know. Like it's that argument like I was talking about of charging a lot for a cheap product, even though the cheap product is beautiful. Although I will say, the one thing that bothered me about this anthology, because I was like, okay, it's not many pages. I'm already spending so much, but it's probably worth it. But then there's literally just blank pages as so it's far less pages than you actually get. And for me, there's only really a few comics in here that make it worthwhile. This is one of them. Honestly, I ordered it literally just for the Lale Westvind comic in here. I like everything in here, but oh yeah, this is another Melek Zertal. I probably butcher the name, but her work's amazing, and you can't find it. Like once it sells out fast, and then it's gone, and you cannot find it again. Like there's no way. So I had to just pull the trigger on this one. Stunning stuff. She just had a whole book come out with Colorama. I mean, I think it's only like 80 pages, but still, their shipping's pretty expensive from Germany, so it's a bummer that not anyone really cares their stuff in the US too much. Some of it will be at like Gutter Pop, Other Books, LA carries some of it. Who else? Printed Matter. This is a beautiful page. I wish this was gonna be like a whole comic, but it's just one of the posters. Yeah, Joe Kessler's in here. That's the gentleman who's running Breakdown Press. So yeah, pretty much this was the main reason I had to do it. Hopefully this stuff will get, she has a collection coming out of a lot of earlier comics that are kind of, impossible to find now. I like the idea of having something special that might never be collected though. At the same time, it deserves to be, so hopefully one day we'll get another Lale Westvind collection of like her Kramer's pieces, and again, I have to do another whole episode about her because I could talk all day about her work as well. Oh yeah, Noel Friebert, another banger. All his stuff. I guess I got a little bit carried away with talking about the content and less about the Risograph printing, but maybe people aren't that interested. Here's another great Miriam Medem. I think they're from Spain or shit. Maybe that's probably wrong. But their work's great. There's no book or anything in English, but you can find their stuff easily because it's in a few issues of Now that's from Fantagraphics. So definitely seek those out because they're cheap. I like Now. It's good. I've had issues with it before because of just a lot of like, style over substance, which is what I was gonna say. Like a lot of the Risograph stuff, or anthologies specifically, they're very can be very style over substance, and when you're paying a lot of money for 20 pages, and there's like it's just cool art, which is everyone has places different value on this kind of stuff. So for me, it depends, but I'm probably I'm not really seeking it out for just specifically art. Like I like the aspect of the content, like the stories more than anything. But like this is called Wobby, and this is from Norway. I should have been more prepared. Netherlands. Yeah. But they do a great job. It looks like, I was gonna say looks like they focused on a color scheme, but never mind. These are all over the place. And apologies, I don't really know any of these artists' names. It's hard to keep up with international comics, but I try my best. There's just so many worlds of this stuff out there, like, you'd be surprised. Like, when you start digging, comics feel so small, because it's like, I only know one person in my direct area that's like as into it as me, and he has different interests as I, of course, but we connect on a lot of levels. But other than that, I mean, there's a comic shop there's a bunch of comic shops, but they all mostly suck. There's a great one out in Phoebus, Virginia, which is amazing. If you have to see this place before it's gone, because it's like, it looks like the back of it is like Raiders of the Lost Ark, those crazy warehouses, just head to ceiling, like 20, 30 feet in the air, like all long boxes. And then the storefront itself is insane, like it's huge, and it's decrepit and falling apart, and they have, beyond comics, everything you can imagine, like collectibles. But I found so many gems there, it's hard not to. It's really hard not to. You'd be a complete Dumbo. Like, I need to go back. I haven't even said the name, because I do not remember. Oh my god. I'll come back to that. So yeah, this is Wobby. Crap, now I'm like focused on this. Sorry, I'm just brain farting hard. Yeah, I cannot remember the name. I'll write it in the description. Yeah, how about that? This is a great anthology. This is like one of the few Risograph anthologies that I really liked, but at the same time there's definitely that style over substance. At the same time, it's a lot of weird art in here. This is an anthology called Trapper Keeper, put out by Megapress. Megapress, I'm not sure where they're based out of, but my assumption is that it's run by the gentleman who does this art, or female. I'm not sure their gender. I'm not trying to place that on them, but the name is this. Panayiotis. Yeah. They go by Pan, I guess, because a lot of their art would be signed Pan. I believe they edit this, at least, even if they're not. It seems that a lot of their stuff they have a lot of his work on there, so I assume it's hidden, like prints and stuff. Could not be. Could be someone entirely different, but I'm not sure how I even discovered this. I guess I just found it on Gutter Pop, which is a great retailer. Love those guys, or those people. Lala Albert, another absolute gem of modern comics. There's some great stuff. I mean, this stuff's like wild. It feels like it's themed, but they don't give you the theme. They just it's like a vibe because the work feels connected in a unique way. This is Aisha Franz as well. She's in this one too. Leon Sadler, who I'm not, that big a fan of his works on its own merit, but he's a great editor, and he's a part of this series called publisher Landfill Editions, and they put out Mold Map, which is, I haven't actually ever been able to find a copy of any of them, but it's considered like the best anthology running right now by a lot of people. Sammy Harcum has been a big, I've heard him talk about it quite a bit, saying it's probably like the closest thing to a new Kramer's or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I wish I had more Mega Press stuff to show. I feel like I'm kind of just teasing because they all their stuff's is limited as hell, and I know these ones are sold out. You might be able to find them. I mean, maybe Gutter Pop still has copies. I can't say. But there's a lot of interesting art here that's very like computer art, digital art. I mean, at least I guess this could be something else, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know how they achieved this. I mean, this almost looks 3D. And if each color has to be a different run through the machine, I mean, this is pretty incredible. It's not just like one color, though. I think you can have gradients of the same color, obviously. The way it sprays. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about it. I'm interested though to learn the mechanics. Like, I really want to invest in one someday. Hopefully people don't buy them all. It's become just so popular that it can be a little like distracting, and it can be a bummer because a lot of stuff goes under the radar. And it just can be really hard to find the good stuff. I don't know, I see a lot of just really cool looking art zines, but it is far in between trying to find good comics being done with Riso. But I'll show you some of my people that are active today. The rest of the books are pretty, I think you can find most of them. I'll just do a little flip through the rest of this one. I'll show the names again because I like I said, I'm not familiar with a lot of these artists except for Lala Albert. She's kind of the main reason I was like, okay, I have to pull the trigger because if she's in it, it's gonna be good. Yeah, it's just buck wild. Just buck wild. I think that's Joe Kessler as well. Great cover by Robert Beatty as well. So yeah, here's the list of contributors. I'm not sure the order. I guess, in order of appearance. So that's still a little challenging. I do wish that these smaller publications would paginate their pages. I don't see why they don't. It's just, it makes it ruins the art, or I don't know, man. It's silly to me. I mean, it doesn't ruin the art. It's like, it just helps you. It's necessary. Like, how are you gonna use this as a reference in the future? Like, I take this stuff pretty serious. I think comics are important, and you never know like what the future is for this kind of stuff. Like, it should be preserved. which is why I have to say this, which nobody really brings up about Risograph. It's non-archival, and most of the stuff's gonna fade and disappear and discolor if you don't take really good care of it. Like, keep it in. If you have a Risograph poster on your wall, take that shit down and put it in a frame, because it's gonna discolor and it's gonna fade, because it's about the ink. I think it's about the solubility. I can't remember if about being, I believe it might be water soluble or oil soluble, either one. I don't know, I'm not an expert on it, but I've heard that you really have to keep this stuff protected. And okay, this is gentleman Rodger Binyone. Yeah, that's probably pronounced wrong as well, but here's the spelling. And he does this interesting, really cool looking, beautiful psychedelic comics and these art zines. This one, you know, I think I know the cover is screen printed, for sure. It's hard to tell certain times because Risograph can look so much like screen printing. But this is like the giveaway for me it could be a combination even. Because some of these lines are just so clean. Also, something about Risograph is it's not what's the word? High resolution. It only goes up to a certain point, so you can see, like, it's not very, it has a fuzzy quality. You see what I mean? It has a very small DPI, I would believe. I mean, it works at small sizes and stuff, but yeah, I'm bummed to find out that it's non-archival, because it's sad. It's really sad, because most of this stuff's like labored over and printed so beautifully, and I don't know, in 20 years it might just be a piece of paper. So yeah, this is, I had some more of his stuff, but I ended up selling it. Like, it didn't resonate with me that well, I guess. But although I really do like his comics, I don't know. I like seeing him progress though. Like, this one was great. The other one was a little too silly. I mean, they're all silly. He seems like he's pretty, you know, he's getting to like a really good level, and I want to see what he does next. But his printing is insane. He must have some background in printing production. These are really nice paper too. It feels soft. And I don't even mind like the naive style, I like it. But I'm just like, the stories are a little bit base. Even though I love this fucking art, man. Don't want to diss the guy, I actually really like his work. Just, it's progressing. We'll be at an insane level in like a year. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know when this one came out. I'm not sure the order of his releases. He seems to be really active. Like, he's put out a lot of stuff in the past year or so. But, like, the spreads are great. Anyway, screen printed covers are really beautiful. Nice attention to detail. I think these are like co-published by Silver Sprocket, and you can get some of the stuff through them, but his label is No Man Press. He has a website, you can order this stuff. It's really reasonably priced as well. Like, this thing has so much attention to detail, and I think it's 12 or 15 bucks, so totally worth it. And it's a nice hefty comic, and I'm sure you'll probably like it more than maybe I did, as far as like the comic quality. Anyway, I've showed the earlier Epoxy. I'm just gonna flip through this. Like I said, I did a whole video about John Pham already. I actually need to do a follow-up, because his new Epoxy just came out. I'm waiting on for mine to arrive. I'm hoping to like maybe do an interview with him. Maybe for this channel. That would be really cool. Talk to him a little bit about it, but he was so busy doing a new book, and he has a family and stuff. Like, you know. Plus, this stuff's not paying the bills, unfortunately. I know he does make significant, decent enough money, and he has a book with Fantagraphics, collecting this stuff, and this is another one of my absolute favorite cartoonists working right now. He had there's a new J&K strip as well that was in the new Los Angeles Times thing that Sammy Harcum edited. I don't know if you can still find it, but hunt that shit down, like really hunt that down. It was free from a bunch of shops that had it. Let's see, Floating World. I think Atomic Books, maybe Gutter Pop, Copacetic. Check those places. Seek it out because it's basically Kramer's 11 or 10.5. I don't know. I heard that Kramer's was over. Sammy Harcum said it was over when 10 came out, but who knows? He said also that maybe not. I hope not. I mean, I didn't know anything about that LA Times coming out, and it just, boom, banger. It had like everyone. Alright, sorry, I get distracted pretty easily. This is some stuff from the Spanish publisher Joc, which is run by the great Abraham Diaz. Another amazing cartoonist, really channeling some brutal stuff, and the stuff he puts out is just as amazing. Like, I was blown away. He had this like quarantine bundle. I don't know what happened to their web shop, by the way. It's gone off Store Envy, but there's a website. If you just look, I'll put it in the description. I'll try to remember to. But man, I was blown away. So it was like, I don't know, $100 or something you send it to them, and they would send you like just a bundle of stuff that looked great. I didn't even look at it too much. I was just like, okay, I'll support. Like, these guys are great. I didn't even own any of their work. I just had read Abe's work and Kramer's, and really fucking, I mean, I felt like that was the best thing in Kramer's 9. It was just so heavy. One of the best things, you know. It's hard to really gauge that. Every time you read it might be different, but this stuff blew me away when it arrived. It's got such a unique approach to each one's printing, and there's a lot of similar attention to detail. And I also like that there's just like a lot of mistakes, like just these, you know, it feels very handmade. And these just weird off-register colorings, and each page is a different color. The content itself is like brutal, and this is Lobo Ramirez. I don't know any of his other work, but this definitely got him on my radar. These are nice. This is like really nice paper as well, and I think I don't even know, it might be that the Risograph printing creates a soft texture, because a lot of the books that are printed this way just feel so nice. It might be that it's, you know, about the solubility again. So maybe I shouldn't do that, because sometimes you can literally, you'll read one of these and you'll literally have some coloring on your finger. Like, look at that. Yep, sure enough. And you have to be careful, because some of this stuff, like this one, was printed with like toxic ink. So I don't know what that means. I think it means that it's really dangerous when most ink is toxic, by the way, but there are like laws about it now, and most people try to use obviously non-toxic ink because working with this stuff, it can cause like horrible things to happen to you. I think it's like a cancer. It's a carcinogen or whatever. Like, it's about inhaling it. I think that's the main problem. So this is a collection of work by Hervio Nono. Another name butcher. This is like beautiful attention to detail. I hope they were careful making this shit because, damn, that's sketch. Yeah, but I'm just trying to be careful not to like touch the ink. I don't know that I tried to research this a little bit, and it's hard to tell if it's actually dangerous when you're reading it. But man, this shit is really beautiful. I think some of it's screen printed, some of it's risograph. Some of it might even be it says on the website, I looked it up. It says that it's part screen print, part risograph, all on different stock paper. You can smell it. Like, you can literally smell the fucking ink from here. It's really strong. This guy's art is so cool though. I mean, it might even be worth getting cancer. Unfortunately, most of this one's like not translated, which very disappointed. Some of it is, but for the most part, he kind of has almost with the black and white, or it's in green, but the black and white stuff kind of reminds me of what the fuck is his name? Jim Osborne, the underground cartoonist. Totally brutal stuff. So yeah, it's this one it's a little pricey, but totally worth. I think it's like $30. Totally fucking worth it. This thing is insane. I mean, I'm gonna keep this one very protected. But yeah, man. Okay, so you can feel what's screen printed. I think that's a screen print. Maybe I'm just stupid to even try to guess, but speculating. I mean, that has to be a screen print. The colors though, like, how do you achieve that many colors in a screen? It's like 7 colors, 8. I don't even know, man. There's some serious. I mean, some of it's blending and it's just buck wild. Demon Poop 4. When I saw this, it really reminds me of Will Sweeney. This page, like I almost thought this was an anthology at first because some of the work's so different, but no, it's just one guy. Fucking great use of color. I'm really curious about what this original art looks like because Risograph does have a limited palette of colors, you know, but it's only limited. It's only really limited by your imagination because you can layer them into some crazy things, but which this kind of shows. But yeah, I mean, and this is not like a flimsy little book. I mean, it is just staple bound, but there's a lot of pages. There really are. Just like perfect horror art. And again, it's got these mistakes, which just makes it feel like so handmade. I gotta put this thing away. I feel like it's gonna make me sick. Yeah, so Joc Doc. Try not to seek them out. They're based in Mexico, and they put out insane stuff. They have some new books that I really need to order. Abraham Diaz. He also just did some shirts. Collaboration with Johnny Ryan, and I'm like kicking myself for not fucking thinking about ordering one in time. So this one is another solo book. Joey. Oh, frick, man. These names. I'm sorry. I'm butchering this shit. I have no idea because it's written backwards too. Joey Depis. You'll have to just look it up, I guess. Sorry. So apparently this is a lot of it's screen printed. Obviously, the front, the inside French flaps. The inside cover feels like it must be. I have no idea. Again, I'm just speculating. This is a weird one. This one didn't necessarily resonate with me as much as the others because it's very crass and crude, and I don't even understand like what way I'm supposed to hold it. It's just chaos. There's some cool stuff in here though. Although it's got the weirdest fold out I've ever seen. It makes no sense. That looks like a screen print, right? So it opens up, but there's 2 pages stapled inside of it. I've never seen that. So bizarre. They're always fucking making some interesting dynamic change that you would not expect. Highly recommend checking them out. And so this is probably their coolest thing yet. This is their anthology. This is a Joc Doc. This is their anthology. At least one of them. I think they've been active for a while too because there's a lot of stuff. This is number 4. Shit. Shit, I don't know what number this one is. There's a new one that just came out earlier this year, or last year technically. This is great too. I don't want to show it because it's not Risograph, but go buy this. It's so worth it. He collects some amazing people, some that I love, most of which I've never heard of, and all of which are mind-blowing. Some of the stuff's in Spanish, and if it's in Spanish, there's subtitle translations, or if it's in English, there's Spanish translations. So I love that they focus on that, like making it multilingual. That's a real attention to detail, and that's genius to me. I love that because you're making it accessible even though you don't have to, because this stuff's amazing. And as I guess this is not Ines Estrada, but it really, another name I'm probably horribly pronouncing, but it really reminds me of her work. She has some very similar comics, like if you've read Cherry, similar vibe there. This stuff's amazing. Psycho Bongo Chicas. So some of this stuff is like crazy spot coloring that's way off and creates like an interesting effect that is very confusing. I don't know how this happened. I think they're just like printing out of necessity, like we have this much paper, if it doesn't come out right, too bad. Which is awesome in a way. This is so insane. What is this artist's name? Oh fuck. Yeah, I just got coffee on the book, of course. I'm a dumbo. Whatever, it just adds to the aesthetic, I guess. Man, what is this artist's name? I don't know, but they're so cool. and it's about like this chocolate company and kind of like a Willy Wonka situation. These guys are touring the factory and they get chosen to be part of the food. I guess it's made out of crushed penises, so it's nice. Oh, this is Zach Hazard. Oh, I didn't know he had a... Yeah, he has 3 names. I just suck at pronouncing them. You can probably find him just by searching Zach Hazard. His stuff's really cool too. This is like the opposite of the all style, no substance. This is all substance with all style. It's everything you want. Like, there's not a bad comic in here for me. And I only have 2 issues of this anthology, Tetanos. But I would love to find more. He told me he's got a new one coming out soon, which I can't wait for because he did an interview with Marty, which I don't know how he found him because I was trying to find him so hard. And I don't know, I got his email and I was trying to reach out to him, but it didn't work out. I've talked about this book as well in the Schrauwen episode, but I figured I would show it. His work starts as Risograph work. I probably should have showed this along with Sunday, but also I was reading that not only this, but I'll show you one of his other earlier works, Arsene Schrauwen. This is actually, I mean, obviously it was printed in 3 parts in Risograph early on, and like self-published zines, I think. You can see the influence of I think he drew all this maybe with Photoshop even, or Illustrator, I'm not sure. Because he's talked about it in interviews, like how he didn't know how to draw without a mouse, which I find fascinating. Because it feels so human. Anyway, I was reading that he did print the pages for this book himself, although it was a little confusing. I'm not sure. But you can see even in his collected Parallel Lives, I think a lot of these short stories were printed early in Risograph. And they were able to, I guess, match it with offset. That's my assumption because I don't think Fantagraphics, I mean, it seems like an insane amount of work for one person. Unless they hired a Risograph printer. It's odd, a lot of books do not even say the printer's name. It just says printed in Korea, so definitely not. It's another one this one it's a similar thing where this shit was originally printed in Risograph, but they were able to match it the same colors I mean, I guess they're the same. I haven't actually seen the Risograph one in person, but they really captured these insane colors in offset somehow. Shit, I'm just realizing I might have framed this horribly. Hopefully you can see all the stuff in this video. But yeah, another Lale Westvind. She's awesome. If you order from her, this is a drawing that she did in here. At first I didn't even know. I was just like, oh, that's just part of it. It's so perfect. But if you don't own any of her work, order it directly from her, because first off, you're supporting an amazing artist directly. Second, she signs everything that she sells herself, which is amazing. She does a sketch like in everything. I have like 5 signatures from her. Anyway, that's not actually Risograph, but you can see like the influence. And so this actually was Risograph printed. This was published by Retrofit, and it's called Mowgli's Mirror. Great fucking book. Like, for some reason, this one is really easy to find for cheap, where some of Schrauwen's stuff it's harder to find. It's out of print. Or it can be, or it's usually, some of it's published by foreign publishers, even in English. Like his first book called My Boy, which I'm going to do a whole episode about that book, which I recently found a copy, which took forever. It took forever. Man. But thanks to Domino Books, who's another great publisher, run by Austin English, who does great comics and edits some anthologies as well. Blah blah blah. I'm getting carried away talking about bullshit. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting, or gained some insight. Anyway, take care.